Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. Before I start my video today, I need to make an apology to my viewers. I was reading an article about the Pittsburgh Steelers international travel and how the NFL makes it so each team has to leave at the same day on the same time, so no team can gain a competitive advantage. I was ripping Art Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization for not changing things up and getting there earlier so the team could be better rested before the game. But when I read the article, it clearly said that the NFL does this for competitive purposes, makes the teams leave at the same time. Nobody can arrive earlier or later. So when you're wrong, you're wrong. If the article's true, then obviously I'm wrong. So I like to apologize and let's jump into today's video. I've been thinking this for a very long time about Broderick Jones. What if he just can't play? Now I see all the potential upside a man that size. Remember, Broderick Jones ran a 4.9 740 in the 40-yard dash at the combine, which is absolutely amazing for a man that size. But it doesn't mean, we all know it doesn't mean you can play football. Hand placement, leverage, understanding another human's body, the way they move so they can't get you off balance. There's a lot of things that go into being a great football player besides being big and just being able to run. There's a lot more things involved than just that. And I don't think that Broderick Jones is ever going to work out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But there's only so many human beings that size on planet Earth that play football. So the next man up after Broderick Jones, he's not going to be better. He's probably going to be worse. And will we see him anytime soon? Who knows? The Pittsburgh Steelers, Broderick Jones was picked round one, pick number 14. And obviously, we missed on the pick. It's not going to work out. A lot of people have been grumbling lately that they don't think that Troy Fontana is going to work out either. And then when you go to the defensive side of the ball, now we have Keanu Benton, a second round pick, and he's not working out. And when you have these draft picks taken so high in the draft on your interior line, and those draft picks don't pan out, it sets your organization back years. It's just as bad as selecting a quarterback that doesn't work out. I would even say that the tackles are probably even more important than the quarterbacks because if nobody can block, it doesn't matter who you have back there. So Big Ben, he's come out and he's had a lot to say about Broderick Jones. There needs to be some accountability. Ben Roethlisberger shares harsh words for Broderick Jones. Ben went on to say he's so upright and you can't stand upright as a tackle. You've got to get low because guys are just going to get underneath you. James Harrison, what did he talk about? Leverage. James Harrison, if he was going up against Broderick Jones, he'd have 15 sacks a game. Broderick has to be better in protecting, Roethlisberger said. Roethlisberger mentioned that someone outside the organization has pointed out Jones' consistent struggles to him. I got word from someone outside the organization, not inside the organization, that watches the All 22. There's not just these ones. There's a majority of plays where it's just not good enough. I assume I assume Tomlin's addressing it. Maybe it goes to the O-line coach. I don't know him. I don't know what he's doing, but at some point there needs to be some accountability from that left tackle. Now, we haven't seen this year with Broderick Jones. Remember last year? All last year, he didn't know the snap count. He didn't know the play. He's hitting the offensive lineman next to him, and the other offensive linemen are ignoring him during the play. Then after the play, he's running up to the offensive lineman, scolding them for not telling him what to do because he was completely unprepared. I think Broderick Jones has moved past that, but getting low is just he's being lazy. You don't want to get low in your stance. You know you can't stand upright to block. You know you got to bend those knees. You know you got to get low. I'm sure the technique has been hammered into Broderick Jones over and over and over again by Coach Tomlin, the offensive line coach. I'm not going to put this on Coach Tomlin at all. I'm not going to put this on the offensive line coach. Now, I will put this on Coach Tomlin and Omar Khan for drafting Broderick Jones. But nobody's going to sit here and make me believe that these coaches aren't coaching Broderick Jones to do his job. He just doesn't want to, he just doesn't have the ability. He just doesn't want to do it. It's not going to change. Hey, sometimes, it's better for business just to move on. Would you rather bring in a player that has less athletic ability, that gets the most out of his body, that's a grinder, that's going to fight you tooth and nail, than somebody like Broderick Jones? A lot of times, Broderick quits on plays. He gets overmatched and he's just like, oh, you know what? Screw it. I mean, he's put more effort into his performances this year than the following years. But obviously, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And if Big Ben is seeing that on film or hearing that from a friend, that means that Broderick Jones is blocking the way that he wants to block instead of the way the coaches are teaching the technique. And that's what Big Ben means by it's time to make him accountable for his behavior. So Deshaun Elliott and Joey Porter Jr. returned to Steelers practice. Both players appeared to be moving well during individual drills, which is a good sign. Seeing their level of participation in practice is the next step toward playing Sunday in Ireland. The first practice report should surface over the next couple hours. If both are limited participants, tomorrow will become very important to see if they improve to full participants before the team travels to Ireland Thursday evening. Tomlin did note that the travel schedule is not going to be a significant component in determining the either player's availability. Well, it's a good sign they're both out there practicing, but we're not going to know it pretty much until game time. And even if both players get out there, who says that they're going to be able to perform? We're just going to have to wait and see, but it's a good sign that both players have returned to practice. Maurkice, Pouncey, David DeCastro among 8 Steelers nominated for 2026 Hall of Fame. Just over a month ago, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025 was enshrined in the hallowed halls of Canton. The attention has shifted to the 2026 class, and 128 players were nominated for the modern era class Wednesday morning. Among those 128 players are 8 former Pittsburgh Steelers. That includes wide receiver Hines Ward, outside linebacker James Harrison, inside linebacker James Farrier, and defensive backs Carnell Lake and Allen Rossum. Joining them this year as nominees in their first year of eligibility are center Maurkice Pouncey and guard David DeCastro. It's just amazing how many great players the Pittsburgh Steelers have had over the years. Simply amazing. That's why, it just hurts. It really does hurt seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers in this type of demise where we're the laughing stock of the entire NFL. We are. We're a joke. When teams line up to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, nobody's intimidated anymore. Even the phrase "the standard is the standard" is a complete joke, and that hurts. Honestly, it hurts. I never thought I'd see the Pittsburgh Steelers in this type of predicament. Now, I know you're going to have down seasons from time to time, but we're going on 10, 12 years of the same old thing week in and week out, and it hurts. Heyward says he has some extra motivation to win the game for Art Rooney. Mr. Rooney came and talked to us and just shared with a lot of group about this being ancestral to his family, the history behind Croke Park. Man, you just want to get that win for him. Heyward said Wednesday on his podcast, according to video via the show's YouTube page. So for him, the Rooney family, old man Rooney, Dan was one of my favorites. I remember he called me from Ireland. He was already the ambassador there, and he was just calling to talk and congratulate me on being a Steeler when I got drafted. So I have so many great memories of his family and him. I think we got to show out for him this week. Well, I hope you do, Cam. I really do. I hope you get 7 sacks, an interception, a fumble return for a touchdown. I hope you go absolutely crazy. Man, Big Ben is on a roll. He was talking about what if the Pittsburgh Steelers get out coached this Sunday in Ireland? Well, if I had to bet right now and say that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to get out coached, I would definitely put my money on the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm not saying that like it doesn't pain me. I'm not saying that like it doesn't hurt, because it absolutely hurts my soul. But we all see how it's going. So why would anything change this Sunday? Cam Heyward was also saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing horrible on 3rd and 4th downs, and he's absolutely right. That the Steelers aren't getting off on the money downs. Yeah, you're not. You're not doing your job. The New England Patriots, I think, were 4 for 4 on fourth down last week, and they converted a number of third downs. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now aren't doing anything well. They're not running the ball well. They're not throwing the ball well. They're not stopping the run on defense. And we're just going to have to wait and see. And I don't think that this international travel game is going to help. This game could not come at the possible worst time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope we win, but time will tell. With that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.